Hi all, once again welcome to Gwinnett Technology, right? So now we are going to discuss about the Zscaler GCC client connector enrollment and provisioning flow process. So we'll understand how the step-by-step provisioning and flow is going to happen for any GCC client connector when it is going to install in the user machine. So entire flow step by step we'll understand through this flow diagram chart, right? So I hope we'll enjoy us throughout this session. So already we know what is the GCC client connector and how it is going to install in the PC and how it is going to be authenticated, how the enrollment is going to happen. But we just have to understand the complete flow, how the step-by-step flow is going to happen for the any new client connector if you want to install it. Okay, so let us start. This would be very interesting, and I hope it is going to be informative for the informative for your learning. So the first step, we having the first diagram where you can see a lot of component. So what are the component we have? So the first component we have, this is the PC. So this PC basically where I mean the user device could be the laptop, right? This could be your PC. This could be your mobile device, your Mac OS device. It could be anything. And in this device, you just have to install the GCC client connector software. Likewise, this software which is installed in my PC. So probably you have to install this software. I already explained how it is going to be done, right? So this software must be installed in your PC, right? Another thing, what else you should have the access? You having the access of the GIA, Zscaler Internet Access Admin Portal, where you can log in and you can do all the configuration. In addition of that, once you log into the GIA portal, you can access the Zscaler client connector portal as well. Client connector portal as which is known as GCC portal, right? GCC portal. This is the client connector portal. So you are here, you are the engineer, right? So you know who is my client, might be your Zscaler engineer. So you know your customer or your client, you having this access via the GIA admin portal. So you just have to log in the GIA admin portal and you'll get the option for the GCC client connector. I'll show you in the lab section. So how things is going to be happen. So being administration, there is some prerequisite, there is some responsibility to you. So the step one, being the Zscaler engineer, you have to do some kind of the setting on the GCC client connector portal before you can enroll or provision any of the user machine to the client connector. So what is your role? So administration must be configure. This administration must be configure appropriate client connector setting for individual user. Might be this is the XYZ user at the rate Gwinnett.com, right? So according to this user, what roles, responsibility, what kind of the access I want to define, I must have to define the policy. I must have to define the app profile here. Prior this user is going to be onboarded. So I have to define the forwarding profile, anything bypasses. I want to define the trusted network, right? Trusted network. I want to define the any other client connector support, right? So this is the client connector support. I want to define. I want to define any user agent. And if I want to define any client connector notification, client connector notification. So these all I have to prior define before provisioning the users. So that's why an administration must be configure appropriate client connector setting for the individual user or user group. Might be this user having the group, might be ABC at the rate Gwinnett. They are the same HR department employee, right? Or my marketing department. So I just created one group and I map this user. So according to group or according to department, according to individual users, is all three option available in the GCC client connector portal. So I can define the policy based on the app profile, based on the forwarding profile, where the additional information I need to call, that is the my which network should be trusted for this user, right? which is the client connector notification I want to define, which client connector support I want to user agent, I want to define any kind of the other like client connector IDP I want to define for the SAML authentication and all. So this all can be defined. This is the first step. So who is going to do these all work? Being a Zscaler engineer, you have to do these all work. This is the prerequisite. If you're not going to do these all settings on the GCC client connector portal, you will be failed to onboard any of the clients on the Zscaler platform. Okay. So this is the first step. I hope configure the client connector on the GCC portal. Now, the second step, still we are having a GIA service here and we have to access the application from the user machine. So you have to understand step by step how things is going to work for you. So the second step we have, once the client connector portal is configured. So the next step, the administrator, sorry, just give me 1 second. So the administrator having a responsibility, the administration having a responsibility to whatever the client connector software, whatever the client connector software version I want to install in this PC, this must be download from the client connector portal and I need to install on this PC. And how it is going to look like. So I have just one sample to showcase you all. So let's suppose this is my the app. So this software I downloaded from where? This is a 4.1.0.102. This software I have downloaded from where? So this software I have downloaded basically from the GCC client connector portal. And if I want to bring in the Zscaler network for this PC, so administration must be ensure my client connector software should be downloaded and that is going to be installed in this PC. This is the manual way, one way of installation. But we also know in the previous lecture, we understand there is a multiple way. I can push via the AD and also mobile device manager, MDM devices for the mobile devices. So these also two options I can leverage and I can deploy automatically. The push is going to be happen silently. Push is going to happen from this AD and MDM, and that is going to install on the devices if they are already joined the domain. But if I want to install manually, that option is also available. So this is the three-way: manual, where I can install manually, or I can automatically push with when the PC is joined the domain, or might be my mobile devices are using the mobile device manager to push this software. So now I have created this profiles, forwarding profile, define the trusted network and other parameters, right? And then software is installed. Then the third step. What is my third step? So now once I install the software, something is going to prompt like this. So you just have to put your username and password. So likewise, this is a username. So it's trying to discover the authentication, right? So right now, this user is not basically part of the Zscaler because it is not configured right now. So it is not going to be authenticated. So you can see user not subscribed to Zscaler services. It identified Zscaler having the intelligence. They come to know this user is not part of the Zscaler domain or something not provisioned against this user. So that's why it is unable to log in. But let's say suppose you already provisioned on the GCC client connector portal because this administrator have done for your requirement. Then is step 3, end user try to enroll and then authenticate. So the device user is prompted to enroll into the client connector and maybe prompted for the GIA cloud to connect with the whatever the nearest healthy GIA we have. And the prompts to end user will see during the enrollment process, and they have to just put their username and password whatever they have, right? So this can be done auto enrollment process also if it is enabled, but if not, you can do manual as well, right? So the third step, we already know what is the enrollment of the silent authentication, all is going to happen. So the enrollment and the authentication is going to be completed, and this enrollment and authentication is going to happen with your Zscaler client connector when against this user, against this group, against the department, whatever the authentication method you have defined there, based on that they are going to do that process. Okay. So if I am moving to the next, you can see here in the third step itself, there is a notification special node. Enrollment through the proxy is supported. Means you want to do enrollment through any proxy, check the page, this config the Zscaler page about the proxy firewall rules if required. So if you want to do that, So this also means if you want to do that, the client connector try to enroll direct first, right? The client connector try to enroll Zscaler client connector directly first, but if fail, then it try to using system proxy setting to just complete the enrollment. So this is the step. So it is just going to reach out the first directly to enrollment process by Zscaler services, but if it is going to fail for some reason, then it is going to use the proxy, which is configuring system. Might be you are behind of the firewall, then in that case for the enrollment through the proxy, or you are behind the firewall, and there are some destination that may need to be opened outbound direction, including the authentication bypass. So sometimes we just have to, when the user are going to reach to destination for the Zscaler, might be your firewall rule is not open, they are blocked. So you just have to allow those ports, allow those services related to Zscaler, so that my user can communicate to Zscaler services with the specific port, a specific destination, and then they are going to authenticate. So you want to check the ports and everything detail how the authentication is going to happen. Then you just have to see in the config.zscaler page. This page is very important for everyone. So every information basically you want to check, then you can go in the config.zscaler.com and you can find that information. So this is for the, if you are behind the firewall and proxy and you want to authenticate, then it's going to come in a picture. Now the fourth step we have client connector authorization and the configuration. So after the enrollment, successful enrollment in the authentication, the next step, the client connector which is installed in the PC, right? That going to be provisioned with the authentication token and configured by the matching profile. Means what profile? So we know that for this user, we created some profile here. So most important profile, what is my trusted network, right? What is my, how can I identify which is my trusted network? Which is my the app profile, application profile, right? What is my the forwarding profile? So these are the three important thing. Based on these all three important thing, after successful enrollment, client connector is going to provision with the for the authentication token and configured by the matching profile against this particular client connect, means client connector software that is installed in the user PC, and then after it is going to get all the configuration. This process is going to include the provisioning of the digest credential to just required to establish the G tunnel, that is a G tunnel 1.0 or 2.0. So there is some kind of digest credential is going to be exchanged between the client connector PC to the Zscaler, and then this is all going to be exchanged to get the full configuration. That's why when we discussing this all, when earlier we discussing about this one, let me let me show you something. So we having some kind of the process. Let me see that. Okay, in this slide we don't have. Let me show you something. So earlier, so see this is a your GCC client connector. This is your Zscaler admin portal, right? And we'll discuss about this part in very detail. This is SAML authentication and everything, and this is your all the logs and everyone, and how the forwarding profile is going to be configured. This all steps are here. How the Zscaler connector look like. But let me show you something which is the more important for you all. Okay, where it is? Let me see in this slide we have or not. No, no, in this also not have. It should be somewhere. Let me see this one. Oh yeah, okay, this one. Okay, so I was talking about how this client connector come to know which network need to be exclude, which network need to be include. How it is going to come to know. So the app profile, forwarding profile, whatever you're going to configure on the GCC client connector portal, that is going to push in the client connector which is available in the system, the software which is installed in the system. So this is the region they are talking here. like the client connector authorization and configuration. So after successful configuration authentication happen, that is going to get the all informations, right? The configuration information is going to happen. Now once they have the configuration, what the bypass, what is the app profile, what is the forwarding profile, what is pack file, once everything is available, then the connector is going to take decisions, right, about the any kind of the communication is going to through to the destination. But before that, device registration and the periodic fingerprint verification is also very important. So in the step 5, after getting all this information, in step 5, what is going to happen? Client connector then registered itself to the matching cloud connector, means whatever the cloud connector services you have taken, and or I can say in this way, Zscaler given the cloud connector portal Zscaler 1, 2, 3, or GS Cloud. Based on that, you have to going to match the GIA admin portal GS Cloud connector and send the device information to Zscaler that include the fingerprint of the devices for the security and the reporting purpose. So that device is going to be validated. It's my potential right devices meeting on compliances or not. So this is the device registration with the help of the periodic fingerprint verification is going to happen between the GS Cloud Connector admin portals and between the device with the help of the GCC client connector software. And this also going to do one more thing. Subsequently, it is going to check every 15 minutes to check the pack file updated. So if you are using any pack file, so if there is any update, so by default, every update is going to reflect, means if you're doing the any changes, that is going to reflect immediately. But let's suppose there is some backend push, right? And there is something updation is going to happen. So that updation is going to happen after 15 minutes, because every 15 minutes by default it is going to be get the new pack file information if anything going to be updated. The second thing, after getting this 15-minute update of the pack file, every 60 minute, what is going to happen? The client connector profile, client connector portal profile, and the policy update and device referencement for the fingerprint registration. Means any policy you created here. Policy means the app profile you created here. Any forwarding profile you created here, any bypass you did here, any other stuff, trusted network you change here, that all going to update it after 60 minutes automatically. It is going to keep checking, and every also, right, 1 hour means 60 minutes device fingerprint registration is also going to be happen, right? So this is how it is going to happen for the device registration and the fingerprint registration. And in addition of that, the user can also manually force and check in the policy. Means if you want to do the manually force and check the policy, you want to update automatically. It means if I am the end user, I want to push my policy in my system. So there is an option update policy. It is going to look like in this way. Let me show you. So you can see here is the update policy. You can see here is the option is the update policy. So if user want to update policy without waiting 16 minutes or 15 minutes, they can update policy from here. But if you're not updating the policy, I just did the configuration on the Zscaler client connector portal or any pack file updation I have done. So that is going to happen after 15 minutes in the user, or anything I have just changed regarding the policy of the app profile, forwarding profile, device reference interval, that is going to happen after 60 minutes. But if you want to do immediately after changing in the GCC client connector portal, just have to click in the update policy and that is going to be happen. So this is the update policy section we have here. Okay. So this is about the update policy. And if you want to update any software version, let's suppose I'm running in the currently on this app version. Just think about this is my app version 2.2.1.33. This is my app version, but I want to upgrade in 4.0.1.133. This is my latest one, and I just schedule it to just upgrade. So this can be pushed to the end device after 2 hours. Means after 2 hours, this is going to be pushed automatically to devices. But if user want to update manually immediately, that can be also done with this update app. There is option. So if you schedule from the GCC client connector portal and you want to update it immediately, you just have to update apps, and then it is going to be happen in the client system. But if you are not going to do that, that is going to happen automatically after 2 hours. I hope it is clear to everyone. So this is how we understand how this process is going to happen for the device registration, periodic update, fingerprint verification. That all is going to happen. Then moving to the next step. Once we're done with this all, the sixth step, that traffic from the client device will be tunneled or proxied. This traffic from the client device, that could be tunnel or proxy. So tunnel means you are just building the GA tunnel 1.0 or 2.0, or proxy means you are directly sending traffic via the by using system proxy to the nearest chain, right? So depending on the forwarding model, what forwarding model you use, and that is applied in the forwarding profile. So that either going to be traffic is going to be forwarded by the help of the tunnel or the proxy to the nearest and healthy zone. If G tunnel are required, they will establish a necessary to the local or specific GIA service as a tunnel and authenticate themselves, and then they start doing the communication. Means they have to first authenticate and then they start sending the traffic. But based on the tunnel 1.0, tunnel 2.0, if I am using the system proxy, then it is going to use the system proxy as well. And the last step, if I want to bypass any traffic, just want to send directly without sending the GN. So you just want to bypass this section. So based on the tunnel 1.0, based on the pack file configuration, based on the tunnel 2.0 configuration. So tunnel 1.0, we having option to just bypass based on the VPN gateway bypass, any destination bypass, any subnet bypass, any domain bypass. 2.0, we having the inclusion and exclusion option. By the help of the inclusion and exclusion, we can send the traffic to the gen. And the third way, if I am using the system proxy, I want to send any traffic directly. I don't want to send the gen. Then I can also do the bypass by the help of the proxy configuration. So if bypass or exclusion is applied based on the tunnel 1.0 is the bypass we call, tunnel 2.0 we exclusion call, and if you are doing from the system proxy, that is also bypass we call. Depend on the which type of the deployment you have done, then that traffic is directly going to destination without heading to gen. So this is the bypass, and the client character will check every 15-minute app profile, forwarding profile, pack file updated, cache, every bypass information. So this is keep going to happening based on the 15-minute interval, and you want to get the updated information, then you just have to go and click the update policy. Then it is going to happen automatically immediately without waiting any further time. So this is all about the enrollment process. Okay, how it is going to happen and how the step-by-step flow is going to happen for the GCC client connector when it is going to enroll to the GIA. All right, so that's all, and have a great day further.